Nothing makes me happier than coming out to the Australian bush at this time of year because the weather has warmed up, the shrubs are starting to flower, the trees are starting to flower, and it is just gorgeous. Birds are out. Very happy. Another thing that happens at this time of year is that people are starting to choose their journal for next year. Over the next month, I'm going to do a series of videos that looks at journal types that are a little bit harder to find. When I started looking into brands that sell B5 size journals, I was actually quite surprised how many there were. Hi, I'm Ruby from The Useful Journal. I do dot grid journal reviews and I share creative ideas for layouts in your journal. This video is going to be pretty straightforward. I am simply going to go through all the brands that sell B5 sized dot grid notebooks. Several countries sell composition-sized notebooks rather than B5. They are very close in size. The B5 notebook is 18 by 25 centimetres, which is about 7 by 10 inches, and the composition notebook is slightly larger at 19 by 25 centimetres, which is about 7.5 inches by 10 inches, so pretty close. We'll start with the journals that are a standard B5 size. Most of Notebook Therapy's range comes in a B5 size and they have 160 GSM paper with 176 pages. I have only seen them offer a B5 size with white paper. One huge positive for Archer and Olive is that nearly every journal they release comes in a large range of sizes, including B5, and nearly every limited release at least comes in B5 size, including when they do black paper, for instance with the Halloween release. Their B5 notebooks have 160 GSM paper and 160 pages. Scribbles That Matter only has B5 journals available in their Pro Planner range, so not their iconic range with the doodles on the cover. The B5 notebooks have white or blackout paper in both 120 and 160 GSM. The 160 GSM paper journals have 150 pages and the 120 GSM journals have 215 pages. Hemlock and Oak is a Canadian brand that has B5 journals with 160 pages of white 150 GSM paper. Jotting Dots from India offers most of their journals in a B5 size with either 200 pages of 120 GSM paper or 160 pages of 160 GSM white paper. Dingbats has a B5 journal that is 128 pages that has natural white 160 GSM pages. Inkpot UK has customisable B5 journals with your choice of colour and foiled stamped icon on the cover, all with 160 pages of white 160 GSM paper. Paper 24 of Amsterdam has B5 notebooks that are 160 GSM with 160 pages of white paper. Just make sure you're not getting the sketchbook or art journal versions that have blank pages. Back in the US, the Little Craft Place in Texas has B5 Neapolitan notebooks that have 160 pages of 160 GSM paper in white, craft, and blackout colours. Burning Clove in Florida in the US has B5 notebooks with 160 pages of white 160 GSM paper. Oops-a-Daisy of the UK has B5 notebooks with 160 pages of 160 GSM white paper. Note that they currently have a very limited range available through Amazon UK, but will be releasing a new range in the future that will be available as usual through their website. Leuchtturm 1917 has two types of B5, both with off-white 80 GSM paper in a hardcover with 219 pages and a soft cover with 123 pages. Milligram from Australia has a spiral-bound B5 notebook with 80 GSM ivory paper and 192 pages. Kokuyu has spiral-bound B5 notebooks with 70 GSM white paper and come in either 80 or 160 pages. The notebooks have a slight point of difference in their dotted line, which you can get in either 6mm or 7mm spacing. Basically, you will see a lined page, but there are dot markings every 6 or 7mm across each line, allowing you to use it like a dot grid notebook if you wish, but providing lines for those that prefer a clearer guide for writing on. Rhodia has a soft cover composition size notebook with 160 pages of 90 GSM white paper. They're from France. Moleskine from Italy has a classic notebook, composition-sized hardcover and soft cover that are both 70 GSM paper with 192 pages, and that's ivory-coloured paper. There's a number of brands selling through Amazon in the B5 size that have dot grid. Notsu has 150 GSM paper in black and 160 pages, and a spiral-bound white 120 GSM paper with 100 pages. Other brands I've seen include Jourmort and Mshoy, both with 160 GSM paper. I can't speak to the quality of these notebooks or whether they will even be delivered. You'll have to do your own research here because these brands have no information available about them. We're now moving into some journals that are a slight variation on B5, but they're too big to throw in with all the A5 journals. They're definitely quite a bit larger than an A5, just not as big as a B5. So we start with Paper Blanks, which has an ultra-sized notebook that is almost a B5, and it's 18 centimetres by 23 centimetres, which is 7 by 9 inches. So it's 1 inch shorter than a B5. The cream paper is 100 GSM and the notebook has 240 pages. Another brand with 7 by 9 inch notebooks is Denick from the US with a 144 page soft cover notebook of 100 GSM white paper. If you love science and technology, you're going to love this brand. Cognitive Surplus from the US also has a large range of notebooks that are 7 by 9 inches, and they are 80 GSM recycled paper with 192 pages. Because the paper is recycled, it's a light grey ivory tone. They come in hardcover, which is the Hypothesis range, and also come with blackout paper, which is the dark matter range. Just slightly smaller at 6.75 inches by 9 inches, so still bigger than an A5, is a soft cover version, the Experiment range, in 80 GSM paper with 112 pages. Also with recycled paper is the Decomposition spiral-bound notebooks that are a slight variation on the composition size at 7.5 by 9.75 inches. They're a bit wider than a B5 but a bit shorter, and they have 144 pages of white paper, which I think is 80 GSM. Devengary Art in Poland has notebooks sized at 6.5 inches by 9.25 inches, which is 16.5 centimetres by 23.5 centimetres, both with white paper. The soft cover has 120 GSM paper and 192 pages, and also comes in a spiral binding with 128 pages, or there is a hardcover with 150 GSM paper and 176 pages. Finally, Life Noble Note is a Japanese B5 size notebook designed for fountain pen use with 200 pages of white 85 GSM paper, but it's only available with a grid marking. So in the whole list I've provided today, this is the only one that doesn't have a dot grid. It's got a grid marking. A list with all these details will be available on my website, theusefuljournal.com, for you to download. It won't be up straight away. It will be up after I've done a couple of these reviews that provide you alternative brands for specific types of journals. I hope this has helped you in your search for a B5 journal. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in finding out which brands sell square journals, traveler's size journals, and journals with either craft or blackout dot grid paper. See ya!